The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
I'm your conscience. You're in a fight between will and
Welcome to Charlotte Black Morning Coffee, a new perspective. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. I am excited to be here. Oh my God. Every day. Let's just jump into it. I want to first, send my condolences out to, oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh my God. It's one of those mornings, guys. I'm going to come back to it because I'm all over the Cicely Tyson. Oh my God, no, I'm all over the place. She was a very distinct and important piece of the fabric of humanity as far as I am concerned, and it is a great loss. She will be sorely missed, but she lived a very full life, and I'm just proud. That's what I said. Yeah, Cicely Tyson. I had somebody out there trying to give me the word. Yeah, I found it. I mean, the name. I found it. But she was an amazing woman. She lived life on her terms, and that's important. Just a great icon, like, for all of humanity, not just the Black community, but just all of humanity. She just was an amazing person, and my condolences go out to, her family and her fans, her friends, everyone in the world, because she will be sorely, sorely missed. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with the with the show on here, so that if you have any questions or anything, I can answer real time. However, as life sometimes does, threw a little curveball this morning, and Tone, who is normally here for me and lets me know who's sending these questions, wasn't able to make it. So we're just gonna wing it, guys. We're just gonna do it the way we can do it. That's it. Okay. So let's see. Is there any other announcements, anything else I should do before I get into the show? I don't think so. Every week, right, when I am trying to come up with the topic of the show, it comes to me in different ways. Sometimes it's I don't know. Sometimes I've thought about it, somebody will say something or whatever, I'll meditate and then it'll come to me. But this time I was meditating. I was taking a bath, and I normally meditate when I'm in the tub, because in the tub for me is a way to kind of detox. I use my bath salts and I have my candles going, and from my bathroom I can see like the woods, so I have the woods as my view, and it's kind of like my little sacred place. So I was sitting in there, and I was doing my little meditation, the thing that I do when I get in there and kind of relax and bring everything down. And as I was sitting in the tub completely still, what I noticed was I couldn't tell, after having been in the tub for a little while, right? I couldn't tell where my body was submerged in the water and where my body was not submerged in the water. Like, I was completely still, and I had my eyes closed, and I couldn't tell. Like, I couldn't feel wet. You know what I mean? I didn't feel what was wet. I didn't feel what was dry. Everything was like in perfect alignment. And so the only time I could tell is where the conjunction of the water and the air against my skin, then I would know, right? Then I could feel it. And that only happened when I moved. So that's how I came up with the title. There was no distinction until there was movement. No distinction until there was movement. So then, as I'm sitting there and I'm pondering this, because I'm always in awe of these great epiphanies that come. The question came up, what are you invested in? I thought that was kind of an odd question, right? I'm just sitting there out of nowhere. What am I invested in? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. So I had to sit there and think a minute, and I sat for a minute, and the answer that came to me was the light. And I thought, that is true. And how did I come to those conclusions? Well, I'm invested in the light because everything I do has to do with the light, and when I speak about light, I'm talking about bringing light to people, you know what I mean? Like lifting them, like we all have a light within us. Some of our lights shine brighter than others just because some of us are carrying so many burdens that it covers our light. And when we start to lift the burdens and release all the angst, then our light shines. So I'm very invested in the light. I'm all about, meditating, communicating, aligning with my higher self, talking to God, trying to heal through the Reiki, intuitive counseling, always trying to bring forth and help people get to their light, right? So that's what I'm invested in. This is going somewhere, I promise you. Okay, then I was shown this image, right? I got this image in my mind, and it was of a bed. And I was, my bed, I was laying in it. I see myself in my mind, right, laying in this bed. And then I get up and I thought, when you lay in a bed is useful, right? A bed is something that we rest on. But when we get up in the morning, we cannot take that bed with us. The bed is only useful for the time that we're in it. And when we get out of the bed and go on about our day, when we start our movement, it's no longer useful to us, right? Because we can't move and lay down. Well, we can, but we can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't get up and get out of the world in the bed. Like it doesn't work like that. So what this kind of brought me to was, in order for us to really move, sometimes we have to leave the things that we're resting on behind. We have to leave what we're resting on to get to a new place. That's important. Then the thought came about money. So just follow with me for a minute. Then the thought turned to money, right? It was like, we all love money. We all want to be rich. Everybody want to have, this endless amount of abundance at their disposal whenever they want it to do whatever they want to do. People are crazy about money, right? We see it every day. It said money is useful, but without movement, it doesn't do anything. That's what the thought was. It came to me, and I thought, money is useful, but without movement, it doesn't do anything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you mean? If I took $100 bill and I sat it right here, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to bring me anything. It's not going to buy me anything. It's not going to do anything. Well, why is that? Because money works when there's movement behind it. It doesn't work in and of itself. It doesn't work by itself. You have to put movement behind it to bring you what you want. So I guess what I'm trying to get to, because I wrote this whole thing out, what I'm trying to get to is movement is the most valuable thing, right? Because without movement, nothing happens. You can win the lottery. You could win the lottery right now. But if you don't do anything, if you haven't thought about what you want to do with the money, or you don't have an idea, and you don't enact in some way, some motion about what you're trying to get to, You can have all the money in your world, and all it's going to do is just sit. So I guess the whole point is we have to put forth motion for anything that we want to do. And a lot of people work. They're trying to amass all this money, but they just let it sit. You know, money without motion is just money. What's the point of that? We cannot take that when we leave. We cannot take this money. We cannot take everything we have. It's like the bed that I saw. Remember I told you I saw the bed? That's what everything material in this world is. It's like the bed. It's useful for as long as we're here. It's useful for as long as we're here. The real investment is the light. That's the real investment, because we take that with us everywhere we go. When we leave this world, we take our light with us. So are you investing in your light? Are you, trying to uncover it, find out who you are and let your light shine? Are you doing that? And light has to do with love, not just loving other people, but loving yourself, not things, but people. I told a friend of mine once, he told me that, he's always working, going to school, doing everything he can to amass all this money, right? And I said, that's great, but, what about people? What about relationships? What is that? And he was like, oh, no, I'll do that later. And I'm thinking, later when? All we got is now, right? That's all we have is right now. So when is later? What if later never comes? I don't know. When I told him, I said, you do a lot of investing and that's good, but you don't invest in people, you invest in things. And things will pass away. People will pass away as well. But to me, the connection you build with a person helps your light grow. That's investing in yourself. That's investing in your light. When you invest in other people, you invest in your light. I'm not talking about going to get your money and put it into people. I mean like concern, compassion, helping people, your family, yourself. You know what I mean? It's important. So those were my thoughts, and that's kind of how I came up with the title, Indistinct Movement. I had a friend of mine come over. When I moved into my new house, I had a friend of mine come over, and I have chimes hanging inside the house. So he was, setting up and getting ready to do his thing or whatever, and he says, you have wind chimes. You have wind chimes in your house? I said, yeah, I do. I have them in multiple places. And he says, wind chimes require wind. And I thought that was really interesting, because he was looking at me like I had 12 heads. Why would you have wind chimes in your house? And you may be looking at me the same way. But ultimately, what I deduced, I felt it anyway. I knew this, but the deduction for that reasoning behind that was, wind chimes do not require wind. Wind chimes require movement. That's what they require, movement. So I can create movement. I can go over there and hit it, and it'll chime, and it'll sound all through the house. I can create the movement. So I think that to me, that's a great way to illustrate switching your perspective, switching your focus, right? We look at a wind chime, we think that it requires wind, but really it just requires movement. We can create the movement. So the point of this whole, may seem like disjointed rambling, which it really isn't, is when we change our perspective about the way that we do things, and we focus on, things like ourselves and being authentic, which helps us shine our light, we create movement. We create whatever we want to create. You change your perspective, you change your world. I say it all the time. We create movement. We bring things about. And sometimes we do it without even realizing or recognizing that we're building something, right? Because you're just trying to make yourself better, right? And all of a sudden, it's like magic. You got this material thing that you just absolutely love, whatever it is. So my guest who's coming on today, this is kind of the process that Breeze went through. And she and I worked together, and we, did some intuitive counseling. And we have a very interesting story about how we met, and we're going to talk about that when she comes on. But she did a lot of hard work. She had to create movement. She had to start moving things around. She had to move from where she was to get to where she is now. And we're going to talk more about that when, we come back from the break. I do want to read one more thing before we move on to the commercial. A lot of times when I'm on the show, I'll say things like, yeah, I'm this new person and I kind of do this and people didn't really know this about me and all these different things, right? And I was looking through Facebook comments, and my one girlfriend that's known me for years said, you've always done that. Like, that's not new. You've always been this way. You always talk to us this way. You've been this way as long as we've known. And the question that came to me was, how did I forget that? How did I forget who I was? Everybody else remembered. How did I forget who I was? Because in a moment in my journey, it's like I slipped it. It's like slipping into some kind of a time warp. I don't know if you guys have been through that, but it's like you're just like operating on autopilot, and then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm back. And that's kind of how it felt to me, right? But for her, I'd always been this person. To me, this was a new person. And there are aspects that are new, right? Because I have a new understanding now. But you just get to a point where you're like, and excuse my language, because I'm say it just the way I wrote it. You get to the fuck it point. And when you get to that point, you're like, something has to change. And that's it. And that's when you start getting on your journey and start unearthing things and, finding out what your angst are and, trying to, kind of reconcile things that need to be reconciled or let it go so you can move on. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that bit of information, just kind of say that to kind of guide you into the conversation that's about to take place with Breeze Murphy after the break. I am going to say one more thing, and that is I feel like I'm not as smooth as I normally would be this morning. And I'm not going to apologize for it, but what I am going to say is this is real life. This is real life. Everybody is not always poised and everything comes out perfectly and everything's perfect and the choir starts singing and the birds start flying, and it's not always smooth, and sometimes it's rough and sometimes it's choppy. That's life. That is life. And I'm not here to present myself any way other than how I am in this moment. And right now in this moment, this is what it is. It's choppy, but there's a point to it. And one thing I've learned about my connection to God and Spirit is that they will use everything. So everything is relevant. So to me, the message in that is things are not always going to be smooth. They're not supposed to be. Sometimes it's choppy. Sometimes the thing is disjointed. You like reaching for whatever you can find. And that's just a part of life. So we sometimes just have to move through it, accept that thing, move through it, and just trust that everything is going to smooth out as we continue the journey. So with that, we're going to cut to the commercial, and when we come back, we'll have Breeze Murphy.
I'm your conscience. You're in a fight between will and skill. I say will first because that's where you are. You locked and loaded with skill. You practicing every day. You putting in your work. You buying everything. You making the investment. You living your dream. You walking like your dream. You surrounding yourself around your dream. You got mentors, everything. You putting your work in. You got your skill. Now it's a test of your action of making progress is progress. The push itself, the fight, you get up and swing and miss, that's progress. You get up and you run at what you want with everything you got and you miss, that's progress. The effort of making the attempt is progress.
Hey there, were you raised in the 90s? If you said yes, you've probably been called digital natives, innovators, entrepreneurs, and for sure, millennials. Maybe you don't believe in labels. Yeah, that's not you. But you are one thing for sure.
Arguably, the more important part of it is the fact that you are being the role model for the future generation.
You are reinventing the world.
Me?
Yeah, you. You may be lost at this point, and that's fine. But remember, find your purpose in life. Not your parents, not your friends.
Not what your teachers think, not what society thinks is important, but like listen to your gut and your heart and think about what it is you want to do.
And make sure it's the one.
I think a lot of us, we're amazed. What an amazing time to be alive.
Start a revolution. Your revolution. Work hard. Play hard.
If I had not persevered and follow my passion, I would not have been able to make use of my talent.
Enjoy the journey. Inspire and get inspired.
I also learned that you have to be persistent and prove yourself.
Let your purpose in life always guide you.
And if you hustle to pursue what is meaningful to you now, you will change your life, you will change the lives of others, and you will change the world.
Together, we can make a difference.
It's your time to make a difference. What are you going to do? Create the world you want to live in.
Welcome back, everybody. And I would like to welcome my good friend, Breeze Murphy, in the building.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I am excited to have you. Oh, my gosh. This has been a long time coming.
Oh, you know it.
The journey.
It's been a journey.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
Oh, girl.
Well, first, let's talk about, how we met. So, our story is really interesting because
I was out with a friend one evening. We went to a local place, and I went in. We sat at the bar. We're going to have some dinner. And I went with a friend, and we were supposed to, talk and just really connect. And something kept telling me, I sat down actually next to Charlotte, and something kept telling me, I need to talk to this person next to me. And I had to actually be rude to my friend and tell her that I have to talk to this woman. I don't know why. And so I did. I just kind of incorporated everybody. But
right.
It was, my friend wanted me all to herself. So
yeah,
that's where our journey began. But I didn't realize that she lived in my neighborhood. So,
absolutely. I think I had just moved. I hadn't been, because I was in January, right?
Yes, it was in January.
Okay, so either I was still moving in or I had just started moving into the neighborhood, and I had no idea. We had no idea. So probably about, a few months later.
March 4th. So
a couple of months later, I was driving by Breeze's house, because we lived in the same area. I was driving by Breeze's house, and she had this salt lamp in her window, and I thought, there's somebody there I need to meet. I mean, that's exactly how it felt. It was like, I don't know why I'm attracted to that. There's someone there I need to meet. Because I had started my journey, too, with doing intuitive counseling and everything, and I didn't really have a whole lot of people. Right. So anyway, it was just a knowing, right? Then came the day.
There was a morning that I was walking my dog. It was cold. It was in March, and I'd come by and Charlotte was outside of her car, it was running, and I said, "Good morning, how are you?" And she said, "I am locked out of my house and out of my car." And I don't know how that happened. That's never happened before. So I said, "Come on over. I got a nice warm house. I got tea. I got a phone. Whatever you need, come on in. Let's take care of things," because she needed to call AAA. So that's how
actually, her exact words were, "What can I do to help you?" And I thought, wow, this lady don't know me from anywhere, and she has offered to open her home. It was so cool. She was just like, "Listen, go in. I got to go to work. Just lock the door behind yourself." And I'm like, what? And that's what she was like, "Just listen, it's fine. Lock the door, when you leave, here's my number, my phone, call me, make sure, let me know if you, when you made it safe," and all that. She was just amazing. So anyway, AAA came and I got taken care of, and that's how our journey began. And then so we started, I don't know, how did you find out that I was doing the intuitive reading?
You invited me over, and we started talking, and you told me that this is what you do, and I said, "I'm all into this. This is what I'm into.
Right.
This is who I am."
Yeah.
And, so
that's when,
So basically, you just guided me into actually looking into myself.
Yeah.
And I work in an addiction facility as a nurse case manager, and anyway, things happened there that a patient actually was a nurse, a labor and delivery nurse, and I had an event happen to me, and she read my records, which led me to have Charlotte tell me that I needed to write about my story.
Yeah.
So I began writing a year ago, last January, and I wrote about, I had a near-death experience when I had my son, and it was pretty traumatic. I pushed it down and I just wanted to talk about my baby. I didn't want to talk about me when I had my baby. So as things happened to me in life, I kept just like pushing them down and not addressing them. And I really didn't know who I was. I haven't known who I was, I don't even, for a long, long time. So during this year, once I finished writing about the traumatic delivery, I went back to Charlotte and I said, "I've written about that and I'm complete with that." And she said, "Oh, no, you're not. You have a whole chest full of things that you need to unwrap.
You're not done yet."
So I'm like, "What?" And she said, "Just go with the next thing, whatever comes up and out of you." So I followed her lead and I continued to do my work. And where I work, because of COVID, I work on a big facility in Havre de Grace, and there's a guard shack there, and I had to go into the guard shack for 3 hours a day to take temperatures of the employees coming onto property. So when I first went out there, they didn't give me a company laptop, so I was out there and I didn't really have anything to do. So I was given the gift of writing for 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
And that started on April 8th. So
I just want to pause you real quick on that.
Okay.
The guard shack was both, at first you thought it was a curse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Breeze was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm stuck in here." And I said, "Use it. Use it." You said, "Well, I took my stuff and I'm writing." Good. Use it. So I just wanted to pause right there, because a lot of times, right, we're faced with some condition. And we think that this evil thing, how could people do this to me? But there's really a gift in it. And sometimes it's about just changing your perspective about it, which is what she did. Go ahead.
Well, the employees would say, "You poor thing, what do you do out here all day?" And I would just say, "Well, it's just my time." I didn't know what to say. So, but anyway, it was a gift. It was actually a gift from God, because I would never, who has 3 hours a day to write, unless you actually make an appointment or get up early or when you go home from work. So it was a divine gift that was given to me, and I couldn't believe what came out of me. And as I was writing, the guards had never had anyone in the guard shack with them.
Right.
I would be holding tears back or whatever was coming up, and they could hear it. And all of a sudden they'd say, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Do you want to talk? What's going on?" And I'd like, "Yeah." And I'd start actually really crying, and they'd be like, oh, they didn't know how to deal with it. But it was a place where I got to let out things that I was afraid to look at for a long, long time.
Right, right.
And it's actually been, I've I've actually found myself. I've been looking for myself my whole life because I had some abuse as a child, and I didn't actually, that was buried way deep. So as I wrote mostly all of April 8th until the end of May, a lot of my writing. And at the end of May, a childhood experience came up about my mother and pulling my hair. And it was pretty profound. I forgot about it. And I just actually went into that age, it was like 3, and just relived it in a way that just shook my world. And I had forgotten about it. I think the last time I had remembered it happened to me was like age 10. So
wow, yeah.
It was years and years and years and years. And I believe it or not, that what happened to me when I was 3 had formed a lot of the ways I dealt with things in my life.
Absolutely. Script.
And the patterns that I had with my mother as a child, I relived with bosses. You know, when I'd get called into the office, I always thought I was in trouble because I was always in trouble as a child. So I just continued to play that out, and it did not serve me well.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what I was doing. I had PTSD, and that was something I didn't know I had either.
Right.
So it's along the way people have showed up and told me things, and it's like all of a sudden the puzzle pieces in my life are starting to fit in, and I'm actually, I have a voice now, and I understand my life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just so amazing. I never thought this would happen.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing, the way that things kind of come together. And that's something that I think, one of the things I want the audience to take away is all these little things that seem random in our lives really are not random. And it's really just waiting for us to pay attention to what's been happening and start seeing how these different pieces and puzzle pieces, okay. The puzzle pieces, see what I'm saying? How the puzzle pieces fit together and look at our broader story. And, you know, I know for you, it was not an easy journey. I was there, I remember. It was not an easy journey, but you made it. But you made it. It all came together. You were able to, you know, let this stuff rise, and, you know, and you now have a book that you'll be authoring that will be coming out shortly.
Yes. Well, through this journey, I have found myself, number one.
Yes,
I have
most important.
found my voice. I had different people. I know my identity. I didn't know who I was. I went to a chiropractor back in 2015 out in Colorado. It was a free appointment my cousin got for me, which, who gives out free appointment? But anyway, as soon as I got on the table, he ran his hand across my back, and he said, "You have identity issues." And I was like, "I do. I don't know who I am." And I didn't know why I didn't know who I was. But it was because of all the things that happened to me that I felt like I needed to be somebody else, or I just didn't know who I was. So I went to another person, a counselor, and he told me, "No one's listening to you." At the end of the appointment, after he listened to me, he said, "No one is listening to you."
Right.
So that was another piece to the puzzle of my life that it was so true.
Right.
So people tell you things along the way. You just need to pay attention.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was something that you said. I lost my thought.
Standing in my truth. What I am doing now, the biggest thing is I am standing in my truth. And the truth is, yes, I went through a lot of things, and there is no shame in what you've been through.
Absolutely. That's where I was going.
I work in addiction, and I feel that every person that pulls up to that guard shack, when I say that, every patient has some kind of pain that I've already been through. And I feel that I am there to help them. And I understand, and I tell them that we are leaving this shame right here, my friend.
Right at the door.
And I am here for you, and I'm going to walk you. Give me your hand. I'm going to walk you through this process.
Absolutely beautiful.
And, you know, this is God. I've been guided here because these patients have healed me.
Yeah.
through this process.
The one thing that I really like, and I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry. The one thing I wanted to point out was how open you were to your process. So, and it probably, I mean, you weren't always like open to really digging deep. You know, there was a resistance there, like not wanting to go, not wanting to look at it. And I think, and you know, especially with you dealing with, you know, patients and things like that that have addictions, I can imagine you see that a lot. That resistance, the fear of the fear of looking at the things we need to look at, but don't want to look at because they hurt.
And we medicate them because they're too painful to look at.
Right.
And I did this. I've done that.
Yeah, we all have done it in some form or fashion. You know, like I said, you know, some shopping. I always, you know, say that addiction is not just, you know, drugs and alcohol and gambling. You know, that's what they limit it to.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
it's overworking. It's, you know, it's a whole array of things that we overuse, I should say, to prevent us from looking and addressing the things that we need to look at and address. So, you know, I know that I mean, not even for me, it wasn't an easy process to look at some things, you know, but, you know, along the way we do, because we sometimes, we kind of trick ourselves, right? We take this little piece of information we have and we grow it into this story that serves us in that moment. It doesn't really serve us, but it serves our ego, right?
Exactly.
And so we feed on that. Oh, they did this or whatever. They did that, whatever it is, right? And then we never really look at, how have I been a part of this process? How have I played into this? Like, what is the real big story here, you know? Right. And what can I do, most importantly, to get beyond this point where I am now? How do I move beyond it? So it's all about the movement, right? Indistinct movement. If we don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. The answer doesn't just fall automatically out of the sky and there it is. You have to dig for it. You have to be thinking, you know what, I want to understand this. Because the moment that you say that, right? The moment you said that, things start happening. That's like, to me, that's like Spirit saying, okay, is that what you need? Okay. And they start, because nothing just happens. We have to have a want for it, a need for it. We have to ask for it. You know, most of the followers are, you know, either spiritual or believe in God or religious, either way. And we all are aware of that concept. Ask God for what you want. Ask Spirit for what you want. But, you know, when you ask, be ready, because Spirit will send you things, and it doesn't always look the way that we think it's going to look.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. I'm sure if you said, Spirit, I want you to help me, and, you know, if our meeting was any other way, you wouldn't have thought anything about it. But, hey, how you doing? You know, whatever. Exactly. And we could have, you know. But this is how I think prayers are answered. Sending people into your life or on your path, or you end up going the wrong way and you're all pissed off, but you went off the wrong way because you needed to be here to meet this person to do this. So it's like It's all relevant, divinely guided, divinely orchestrated, especially when you have prayed and asked. You have to just pay attention. Just pay attention.
I've been praying and asking for a long time, so thank you so much. I can't tell you how grateful I am for what you have done for me.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. It was
so grateful for. It's like an awakening. I'm like a new person. I really am, from all that I've been able to look at and understand. I understand myself. I realize that when things happen to you, it's not always your fault. It's how we carry it.
Yeah, it's how we carry it.
You have to let it go, and you have to forgive.
Oh man,
can be so hard to do.
Yeah, but forgiveness is not just for the other person, right? Forgiveness is for you. It's for you to say, you know what? I am tired of carrying this, and I'm going to forgive it and let it go so that I can move on. And I always say, you know, you don't have to forgive the act, but you need to forgive the person. Because a lot of times the people that are doing these things are doing them out of their own pain too. They have their own issues, their own set of traumas and hurts and shadows. They operate out of their shadows as well. And this is what brings about this kind of activity. They just, in that moment, they didn't know anything else. They worked with the best, whatever they had, they worked with it. You know what I mean? They do the best they can with what they have in the moment, as we all do. And so that's why it's so important to forgive. And I always say we shouldn't look at people as being good or like evil. It's balanced or imbalanced. And when we look at it that way, it makes it easier, I think, to forgive people. It makes it easier not to demonize people. If you say, well, they were kind of operating out of balance. They were just a little bit, and they really needed to be here, and they weren't there. So in this position, they saw life this way, and that's why they acted this way. So it makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more palatable, emotionally, to say, okay, I get it. I can kind of understand that.
I had to wrestle with some of this anger. I'm telling you, I felt like I was in a wrestling match with it, and I just had to go back to when it happened. But once I understood the circumstances, it made it. I was able to forgive.
Yeah.
But you have to go back to where it started.
The
Otherwise,
root.
You don't even know why you do the things you do.
Exactly.
And I feel like I've been given a second chance at life. I really do. So I am forever grateful.
Oh my gosh, listen. It was an amazing journey for me as well. And you did all the work. I mean, I was there to help out, but really, you did the work yourself.
You were my
coach.
Did it. You coached me in a sense. And kept me. Once I got in the guard shack, I had the time to do it. So
right.
It was like I was passionate. I was like,
yeah.
It just kept coming.
Absolutely.
It just kept
and
coming.
That guard shack was a godsend.
That
was divine.
Place.
Yes,
and
it was.
And the respect I got there, I'd never gotten in my life. So it was another whole thing. There were so many gifts in the guard shack.
Yeah.
Where I get to greet the patients when they come on property. It was just so amazing. So
yeah.
I'm still out there.
Yeah.
Still out there in the guard shack.
Yeah. So. It's okay. It's a great place to be.
It is.
We all need to find our guard shacks, right? We all do. We all need to find that place where we can sit down and just really open our hearts, unashamed. We walk around guarded and pretending so much. We're in these roles, and a lot of us don't even know, don't even know you're pretending. You're walking around in this role and you're like, this is the way that life's supposed to be. It's not. It's not. You're supposed to be who you are. It's not, I got to wear red boots with my black and red jeans, because if I put the green boots on, although I love them and I really want to put them on, they don't go together. So what? The point is, you don't have to conform. Like, you can be who you are. And I talk about that a lot on the show, right? About just stepping into your own unique self. And I really wanted to bring you on so that the audience can see that, I recognize that becoming, what I call it, becoming who you are in your authentic way, in an authentic way, is not just, okay, this is who I am today. No. It takes work. It takes work of releasing those pains. And a lot of times, just like you said in your journey, right? You're like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, yeah, no, there's more packed down there. There's some more digging you gotta do. There's some more stuff down there we gotta get to. So, yeah, it's a tremendous process.
It's been a journey, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because my friends have thought I was crazy at times, and I'm like,
yeah,
I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going. So
I'm trying to see if I can jump on real quick and see if there's anyone. Oh, here we go. So, hey, Madeline, you look very nice. That's Tone Spencer. She says, I'm watching with you.
Hey, Tone.
But yeah, this is just an incredible story. P.L. Dates, who was in the building earlier, you know, also gave you a shout out. And so, you know, for just the journey, you know. So good friend of mine, he's also working on a book project, which I hope to get him on the show soon too as well. But I think that it's just amazing, the journey that you have taken and the time that you've invested in your own self, in your light, to reveal it and share it with the world. Because like I told you then, you know, your story needs to be told so that other people can feel like they have permission to do what you did. You know what I mean?
Yes, I've been humbled. I have been humbled.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Humbling. My life has been humbling. And it's so good to be able to see it like that, because I couldn't see the forest from the trees.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was. You dress it up and you make it look good and you go out there and you give it your best shot, but I really didn't know who I was. So I thought I did.
Yeah.
But I identified with things that, you know, were not really who I am.
Right.
And now I know who I am. And there is nothing more powerful than knowing who you are.
Absolutely. And standing in that truth.
Standing and walking in your truth. Oh my gosh.
Unapologetically.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Yes.
amazing. I feel like I've been given a new life, a new look at life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just so good.
Don't the trees look different? You walk outside, you're like, oh my God,
this
everything is so much more colorful.
Yes, I am just so thankful and grateful for everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes.
Yeah.
Given another.
You did listen. And when this book comes out, let me tell y'all, this book, the name of the book.
Cracked Wide Open, Unearthing the Truth.
Is that an amazing title? Oh my God, I get chills every time he says it. But the stories and the detail, you are a great writer, by the way, and a great storyteller. Just the detail about the things that you went through, it is an emotional and healing work. And I'm so excited for you. I cannot wait until that book, you know, hits the shelves, and I'll be able to bring you back and be like, here's the book, and we can get into that. It's just an amazing. It's just an amazing journey, and I am super, 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 super proud of you and all the work that you've done. Because again, you know, I remember, and I think you deserve to be recognized and acknowledged, you know, for all you did. For yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for showing up for me and making it all possible. Thank you. You're an amazing woman. I can't even tell you how much you've done for me.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you. But this is about you. This is about you.
Okay,
This is
sorry.
about you. We're going to keep it on you. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Like a few minutes. I'm going to run a little over just because, you know, that's just what we do.
Okay.
So I have here, you guys, the invitation here is to, you are in charge, so take charge. And I may have said that last week. It's important. Reclaim yourself and take ownership of your actions so that you can redirect the way you want your life to go, the way that you want to live. You know, we are given this gift of life and we often take it for granted. We look at it as mundane and regular, but it's not. It really is a gift. And I think that has really been made clear, like through this pandemic, right? People just gone. Here today, gone tomorrow. No, just gone. So to me, again, I cannot stress enough. If there's ever been a time, now is it. Now is it. Now is the time.
Now is the time. Amen.
Yeah. So show compassion for yourself. Don't be afraid to look at the thing, right? You know, it's not going to happen all in one day. You're not going to sit down and be like, oh, here's all the stuff. No, it doesn't happen like that. Start with one thing. Start with one thing you know is bothering you. That one thing. And write about that. Take that one piece and just explore it. When did this happen? How did it happen? You know, why did I think what I thought? How did I really feel about it? How do I look at it now? How did I look at it then? Just investigate that whole issue and work from there. Ask the questions. You know what I mean? So that you can get to your light. Everybody's not ready. Let me say that. Not everyone is ready to face it, and that's okay. Because we don't all work on the same timetable. We all have different journeys, and everybody moves at a different pace. So just because, Breeze did it doesn't mean that, Breeze's girlfriend has to do it. No, everybody moves at their own pace. And maybe your girlfriend is not going to write a book. For her, it's not about book. Maybe for her, it's about art. Maybe she's going to paint her emotions, and that's how she's going to release whatever it is you're feeling, whatever it is your gifts are. That's why I always say that everything is relevant. Everything is relevant. It's just you have to put on the right, you got to get your eyes in the right focus in order to see the real picture, the bigger picture. You have to refocus, you have to shift, and you have to, let go of these shadowy glasses, our shades that we wear, the shades of anger and unforgiveness and, all these different things that we carry that we are not meant to really carry. We're not meant to carry that. We're meant to be here, shine our light, experience our life. Everything is not going to be honky-dory or, perfect, but it's perfect in its imperfection. Because even when things happen that we feel like, why did this have to happen to me? There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And it adds to your journey. It adds to your path. It adds to who you are. Sometimes things happen to bring our attention to things, right?
Yes.
And so this is what we're talking about right here. This is what this conversation is about. And again, it may not be the most eloquently spoken show, or I may not speak as eloquent. You were great. But again, for me, it is about what you take away. It's the seeds, seeds, these seeds of wisdom. These are things you guys need in order to shine your light. And that is what my show is about. Helping you shine your light, bringing you concepts, bringing you people who have gone through these things, introducing you to new ideas, offering you something that can help you change your perspective or look at things from a different perspective. View it from a different perspective. You take what you need, you leave the rest. But as long as you grasp, as long as you get something out of it, that's what's important. I told my girlfriend the other day, right? We were talking about, or maybe it was you I was talking to about, I can't even remember, but we were talking about the numbers. I'm like, at one point I have to tell you I was a little bit concerned. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. And I could hear Spirit say, don't worry about the numbers. You worry about the message.
Absolutely.
You get the message out. The people who need to hear, they will tune in.
They will hear you.
Just like you were put on my path, they'll tune in. Yes. Don't worry about the numbers. It's going to reach who it's supposed to reach. The people who are not ready, they're not going to be led to this. They're not going to see this Facebook. Right. They're not going to see it on YouTube. And, not at this moment if it's not for them, right? Exactly. And maybe it could be a year from now. And all of a sudden, you get all these people watching it. So, again, you have to do things. It's just the way that you do things. Sometimes it's not about the count. It's about the meaning. It's about the message. And that's the one thing, about Cicely Tyson that I loved. She did not let the industry define who she was. You know what I mean? She chose her roles. She chose the role. Every role she played, she chose. And it had meaning for her. It wasn't about the money. It was about the meaning. What am I communicating? What am I putting out? What am I trying to do here? What am I trying to communicate and teach right through the role? So that, to me, that speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. Years ago, a close friend of family passed away, and when they were having her eulogy, they were reading, and they said, you know, it's not the day that you're born. It's not the day that you die. It is your dash that is most important. What are you doing between the day you're born and the day you die? That is the important thing. Where's your focus? Are you helping others? Are you loving? Are you forgiving? Are you honoring? Are you experiencing? Are you enjoying?
Are you doing what you're meant to do?
Are you doing what you're meant to do? Are you walking in your truth? Are you being authentic? Yeah, in your purpose? Are you authentic? And most of all, are you celebrating your life? Are you enjoying yourself? You know, it's not all humdrum. Oh, yeah, it's not. It's about having a good time and enjoying the people in your world. And when it's time to let them go, let them go. But while they're there, embrace them, enjoy them, celebrate yourself. So that's what it's all about. So I guess we are, we're about at the end of our show. But, you know, I wanted to say to you, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and just talking about your journey to provide some encouragement.
Yes.
Mindfulness moment. I did not forget. Okay, so let's see, we've done the 5 minutes of meditation for this week. For those of you who are on board, I would challenge you to do 10, 15 minutes of meditation, continue to do your selected yoga pose, and then I want to add another exercise, and that's a gratitude journal. Just sometime during the week, or, just sit down and write everything that you're grateful for. Everything that you're grateful for. And we always think it has to be, I'm grateful for whatever it is. If you're grateful for that blade of grass out in your backyard that's green and the rest of it is brown, I'm grateful for that green blade of grass that exists in my backyard among all the other dead pieces, whatever. It doesn't matter. It is just the spirit of gratitude lifts your spirit. It lifts your spirit and it opens your heart. So do a gratitude journal, and it can be as long or as short as you like. It's up to you. It's your journal. But as you do it, when you're done and you read over it, pay attention to how you feel in that moment, looking at all these things you're grateful for. Okay? All right, listen, that's the end of the show. God bless you. Have a great week. Love and light, miracles and blessings. I send it all to you. And I guess I'll see you next week. I'm not sure how it's going to roll out, guys, because I think I'm due to be, I'm supposed to be in Arizona here shortly, which I hadn't even told anyone. So I guess this is the public announcement. I don't think it's next week. It's not next week, but I think that's the week after next. Yeah. So anyway, have a great week. Love yourself. Love the people around you. And we'll see you next time.